Hi there, my name is Michaela. I'm so happy you found me. I started my first video here with this foundation routine. I do makeup professionally and I have worked in the makeup industry for many years. So if you would like to learn how to do this foundation routine from someone who has done makeup on themselves, but also on many different skin types, colors, genders, I would love to be your person. So if that sounds interesting to you and if you want to achieve this glowy foundation look, please keep watching. Okay, so I pulled my bangs back and I have the products in front of me, so let's get started. First, I'm going to talk about primers. Of course, you can use your favorite one. My current is the Face Glaze by iNNBEAUTY. It is just this beautiful pearlescence, and it just gives the skin barrier repair, so it's almost like a moisturizer texture. I do have my skincare underneath this as well, but this just gives an extra layer of moisture, especially during winter. I just kind of pop this on, focusing on the cheeks for me, and then working through the T-zone. I also put this underneath my eyes, and whatever's left, I'm going to work this through. I do have a mirror down here, so just heads up if I'm looking down, that is why. I don't know if you'll be able to tell on camera, but it just helps lift some of the shadows, some of the redness, and at this point you could go throughout your day just like this. It really gives a beautiful evenness to the skin in a supernatural way, so most days I'm not even wearing foundation and I'll throw this on and call it a day. For foundation, it's rare that I use a traditional foundation personally. Again, I do know that currently I don't have any active breakouts, so I am quite lucky. I have been working with Retin A and a lot of skincare to make that happen, but you may be able to see I have some discoloration and red scarring because I am so fair that the second I get acne, I will have a scar. And so for me, I really just want to work with the natural texture of the skin. So that works for someone with clearer skin or someone with not. So you want to look at the overall quality of the skin and have that be your focus and let that shine through. And then just use a higher coverage product when you're talking about the spots that you may have. Of course, it's faster to throw a higher coverage product all over the face, but for me, I'd rather spend more time on my skin care, and my foundation process, because I feel like that for me makes or breaks my makeup. When I look at runways, and when I look at models and when I look at editorials, the skin is such a main feature. So I would rather let the skin be natural and show through, and then do some fun makeup additionally that will just have it feel more modern than full coverage everywhere. So, couple options. Again, use what you have at home. I like to do sort of a skin tint or a BB cream type product. I have, for my lightest coverage days when I feel like my skin is at its best, I will use the Hourglass Veil. They have a good amount of colors in this range, so that's a good option if someone has a difficult time finding colors in skin tints, because I feel like it has a good range. It is relatively pricey though. Today what I'm going to use does not have the best color range, especially for people of color. So keep that in mind. It is a Korean brand, so it's kind of a thing that we see throughout Korean brands, sadly, that they don't always cater to deeper skin tones. If you are a little bit more fair, or maybe fair to medium, they have a little bit better of a range than some of the other BB creams I have found. It's an SPF 42. I use shade number 13. It's the MISSHA. The Perfect Cover BB cream. I pumped a couple on the back of my hand, and I just use a damp beauty blender. For almost everything, I'm going to use a damp beauty blender. I find it gives me the most flawless coverage in the most natural way. So I'm just going to work this through, and what you'll see is that I'm just focusing, starting with those areas for me that have the most pigmentation, and I'm not going to blend all the way. I'm just kind of placing at this time, making sure that I get the coverage wherever I would like it. And I'm just wanting this to do general redness. It's not supposed to conceal any pimples. It's really just meant to give us a base layer for other things to stick to, and a little bit of that sun protection in this case. I do use this specific one underneath my eyes. I don't have it, or find that it causes any issues with my concealer. And then I go back once I've kind of spread it with the side of the Beauty Blender. So I started here at the bottom and then the side to just thin that out and kind of make sure it's nice and seamless. I like this especially for those who are on retinol or have any peeling or anything like that texture to their skin, because when I use a brush, that micro exfoliation from the brush can really lift dead skin off and shows a lot of those texture imperfections that we may not want to accentuate. But this just gives me an overall supernatural look. I really want to make sure it looks supernatural right in the front of the face here, right in the center, so that where our face moves, we smile, you know, we squeeze our forehead, that's not going to have extra product there to collect. So if you are someone with maybe more mature skin, this is a good technique as well, because there's not going to be a bunch of extra product sitting that is going to collect. I still have some on my hand, so I may take that a little bit if there's anything peeking through as far as overall discoloration. So I usually add a little bit kind of on the sides of my face right now, because that's again where I have been breaking out and where most of my redness has come. And then same technique, lightly kind of buff around what I just did. So of course you could leave like that. But this is where my concealer comes in. So some options, some of my kind of couple favorites right now. A drugstore favorite is the Maybelline Fit Me. I've used this for years. For me, I choose a color that's not quite as fair as I am, that has a little bit more of a pink peach, because I get quite a bit of blue-green right in here. So if I'm using this for under eye, this is a great one. I also like for under eye or for spots, Tower 28, I have the color BU, and in Maybelline I have color 10. And then for the kind of like multi-purpose one that I use, again, for someone with a particularly dry skin and under eye, is the Stretch Concealer from Glossier. I have an older one, so I have G12, but it's kind of like the fair pink, I believe is what they call it now. I think it's shade number 2. So, again, with the Beautyblender, I am going to use the Stretch Concealer just to make it simple so I can use one product today. I'm just dipping my Beautyblender into the pot and kind of using the tip there. And then I like to kind of push my head down and lift my eyes up so I can see right under there. Often, I will grab a smaller little mirror for me, like one of these, and I will lift up like this so that I can make sure I get right up in here. So I hope you can see that okay. And I am going to mainly put the product in here, not a ton out here. So I want to make sure this area is thin, because again, this is where we smile, and that's where things tend to gather. So I'm going to make sure this area is nice and thin. I still want some coverage on that edge of the eye there. And I do lift up slightly because I have, sadly, eczema on my eyelids. So I do get some redness. And so, again, working right into here, just to get that little bit of natural brightness. I will go back and do any, touch-ups and imperfections. I'm just going to match my other side here so we can see what I have going on. Again, buffing that outer corner so there's not too much. And I didn't in the other eye show you, but I like to also go in a little extra product right in here. Again, this is where I tend to get the darkest, and so I'm going to make sure I focus right in there. And I'll just kind of bring it across the bridge and match that up with this eye. That way, everything is going to look nice and seamless. I'm going to use the same one just on spots. So again, I'm really targeting on the point of it and just seeing what peeks through. I like to do concealer afterwards because my foundation or my skin tint has done a lot of the work for me, and I'm just kind of using minimal product to just add coverage where I want it. And it's okay if things show through. I'm not, married to the idea of it having to be perfect unless I'm doing something for a shoot or, bridal or something like that, because I do makeup professionally as well. But for myself, most cases, I'd rather it look like skin. So really, for my base foundation, that's it. I'm going to go in with my what I call structure products. So that's going to be things like bronzer, blush, and I will set with a little bit of powder after that. But I like to do like a cream layer and then the most light layer of powders, whether that be powder blush to set or actual translucent powders, things like that. So let's move on to our cream or liquid products for some structure. I have the Saie Sun Melt. I really like this product. I have it in the fair and in the light. For me, being as fair as I am, the fair is the most natural color. So if I want something to just give like, you cannot tell it's bronze, or I'm wearing a cooler makeup tone, it's the winter, I might go for fair. Light for me is going to be a little bit warmer. So I'll kind of show you these on screen. Sorry for the sounds of the lids. So this is the fair, and this is the light. So normally the light would be a little bit more orangey for me, so I would use this to warm up the face. I would not use it to do any sort of contour or shape. I'm going to start with the fair color of the Sun Melt, and I'm just going to take the butt of my Beautyblender and kind of just like press and roll that in. It's, again, such a fair color, so if you are someone who's extremely fair and has a hard time finding a bronzer, this would be beautiful for you. And I like to just lightly kind of push back my hair because I want to get through all the way through my temples and to my ears as well. So for me, I want to use this to give light structure to the face. So I'm going to use this almost to blur everything together. I'm going to kind of just take it lightly on the bridge of my nose, but it is truly almost something you can't see. But I like it because it's going to take some of the high contrast down from maybe a contour that I might do or a darker bronzer and make sure that like right under the eye isn't white in comparison to your bronzer and your blush. So it's almost like my blending shade. I am going to use a little bit of a light shade just to show you the difference for some warmth because why not? And this is, you need less product with this one, but you'll see how the tone is very warm. So different to this side, a lot warmer. I like to bring it here because I do have a lovely widow's peak. I do have bangs, so I mean those will be covered, but just in case there's a rogue wind, we'll have a little bit of bronze that area. But this just brings back some life to the face. Again, I am so fair that when I put foundation on or a skin tint or concealer, it can look so perfected that I look unalive. So again, just using this kind of on the edges of my face, mainly on my cheeks. I also do my ears, just so that it doesn't look like a white ear totally sticking out of my bronzer. So maybe a bridge of the nose, whatever's left, bottom of the chin. I also hate when my upper lip looks super, super white, so I have almost no product left over, and I'll just tap to blend that together. So that's my basic warming bronzer routine. I also will take a contour product. So for now, I'm going to use the Sculpt Stick by Milk for fair skins. Toasted is a wonderful color if you want something truly cool toned. And I'm going to draw that directly on just to show you where I put it. I look at the contours of my face and I kind of start here and work my way backwards just to kind of press that in there. I like to do a little bit here so that my temples press in and then the cheeks can come out. I might do some in here, like I said, for my widow's peak situation. A light bit bottom of my nose. I do right underneath my lip because I find that when I have lipstick on, that natural shadow looks beautiful. And then our good old friend, our double chin. So I might do a little bit there, maybe a dot or two here. Then Beautyblender. And I keep the same Beautyblender the whole time so that the products we've used previously have kind of soaked in there. That way, everything melts to one. Because I'm not looking to see these lines. I want this to all blend together. So I'm going to start with the chin one because I feel like that's the one that could be the most obvious if it's not blended first. So I work this kind of down a little bit, maybe to the sides here. And I want it to look very negligible. And then here, this is the only time I am going to kind of blend back and forth, is I'm going to work myself on my chin area, which good old genetics didn't give me a particularly strong one, but that's okay. We can fake it with makeup, but also doesn't matter at the end of the day. So I like to use the smaller side here, the pointy side, to do the nose. I don't personally love a nose contour on myself, but you could totally bring this up the nose like this more if you wanted to more of a nose contour. And then I'm using the side of the Beautyblender just to buff this back into the hairline so there's no white band between our contour and our hairline. Don't mind my bangs wanting to be freed. And this just for me with a longer face will help kind of close everything off a bit. And then I like to leave the cheeks for last personally, and I'm kind of gonna be very careful because again, this is over right on top of the concealer I did, and work my way up and back and just kind of press, press, press. You could use whatever side feels most comfortable for you. And you can always leave the tip ready to kind of press back any concealer that's left on it. And then same idea. So it's very subtle. You could obviously keep this less blended if you prefer a sharper contour. And for certain looks I might do that. But for today, we're going to keep it super natural and I'm just going to kind of blend around the area. Again, so there's no difference between my warm bronzer and my contour. I'm going to go in with a cream or liquid blush. A couple that I grabbed, and a lot are great options right now. There's so many that came out this year. The classic Rare Beauty. I have the color Hope for Supernatural Day. I have a couple of these Tower 28 BeachPlease. This is office hours. Today I'm going to do, let's do the Tower 28, just to make it easy. Take the butt of my Beauty Blender and tap into that a little bit. If you're worried, because it looks a little scary on here, you can tap it onto your hand to kind of see what it's going to look like, and then go from there. So I'm just going to lightly tap. That is going to just give me some more life to my face. I know it's kind of ironic, us taking all the redness out and then putting it back in, but now we get to decide where we want it. So this tone is, I would say, a cooler toned brownie pink. So kind of gives my skin life, and it would work on a little bit more of a variety of skin tones. I also like to go right in here because I don't, again, like that white line. So whatever's left over, I'm just kind of buffing into here. You don't have to do this, it's just a preference for me. I do a dot or two on my nose, maybe on my chin, and sometimes up here too, depending on the color that I'm using, just to tie everything in together. I just realized I forgot to blend my lip contour, so I'm going to do that super fast. Just take the point and literally go back and forth lightly. It's so subtle that obviously I forgot about it, so that's that. So for glowing products, I have the Merit stick. This is in color Cava. It's almost just like a pearlescence. Again, no shimmer to it necessarily. And then I have the REFY. It's just one color. It's their highlighter. It's called their gloss highlighter. It has a golden sheen to it. I was afraid it wasn't going to work for me. If I want something that's not going to give any lightness, it's just going to give a physical shine, if you can tell. It does end up going relatively clear, but this is beautiful on deeper skin tones as well. And for me, I do use it more when I want a little bit of a bronze look. So for today, I am going to go with the Merit since I am more fair right now and it is winter, and I'm not looking for as much of a beachy bronze look. So you could go straight in with the stick and kind of draw that on there. I like to go personally with the tip of my Beauty Blender and just work it into there. That way I can go right here and just kind of give that glow. So hopefully you'll be able to tell the difference here. I know I was already quite glowy, but I like to work it right up in here. I take it on the corner of my eye and underneath my brow as well. That's just a personal preference. Again, it gives an editorial glow that I love. If I'm feeling really dry in the cheeks, I might lightly tap it over whatever's left right through there. Again, I like a glow. You do not have to do this step. It's a personal preference. But it just lifts the skin a little bit and blends all of that together. Again, so if you can kind of see, gives that nice, sheeny glow. Again, right underneath there. I like to do bridge of my nose. Sometimes I'll go down if my nose is particularly crusty from my Retin-A. I'll go straight down there just to give that its natural shine back and kind of just buff that out like there. And then I do my Cupid's bow. I might even use my finger for that, just to give life to that before our lipstick. That is that for all of our cream products, and now we're on to powders. So again, you could totally stop here if you have very dry skin, or if you just prefer that shine. I have a couple powder options that I love. I love the Kosas Cloud Set. I have the color Airy. Mine has hard panned, which they all kind of do, which is okay. It's because I've used my Beauty Blender on it before, so any damp products will cause it to do this. You can lightly scrape that off and it'll be totally back to normal. And then I also have a new one for me, which is the classic Givenchy Prism Libre. This is number 3. This one is a pink tinted one, and I'm going to use that today just for fun. I like to use kind of a easy, fluffy brush that still fits underneath my eye, but I'm going to go like this. Press out any spots that it may have, you know, collected together, and then I'm just going to lightly press into here. This I do because my under eye tends to show more like the shape of it when it has too much shine on it. So hereditary kind of dark circles, or hereditary, like, you know, where it goes in, this will help hide that a little bit. So again, same thing, stretch, get any of those little guys there, and press. We're not tugging, we're just pressing. I also do this on my eyelid. That way, if there's any spots where it creased, because I have, again, so many glossy products, I'm not touching my shine that I put up there, but just right up here so that my eyeshadow can blend nicely. Same thing. And this just gives a light brightness, so if you are someone with fair skin, or I've seen actually a lot of skin tones use this product in this color, this will really help with that. I also like to take a little bit right in here. If you see that triangle of shine and light, right in here, because I feel like that's also where a lot of product tends to separate, is around the nose when our natural oils come through. And then anywhere else that you might feel that you want to take off shine. So a lot of people take it off in the forehead here. And again, because I'm using a targeted brush, I can decide exactly where I want the product to go. So right in the center here, I might do some lightly on my chin. And then sometimes I'll set carefully where like my main either acne spot would be, just to make sure that when we put our powder blush on top, if we are setting with powder blush, it will not stick too much. I'm going to set with my bronzer with kind of an odd product. It's the Kaleidos Mono Blush in Pearl Bliss. Beautiful package, first of all. I mean, stunning. If you are not fair, I mean fairest of the fair, this will not work for you. So you'll have to pick another color. This is not technically a bronzer, but the color is like a purpley pinky brown. And I use this to lightly set my contour with this is just a random Dior brush, angled. And I'll lightly tap into that and tap on the back. It's very finely milled, and set my kind of contour lightly, just so it's not going to go anywhere. But it is a blush technically, so this is going to almost be like a blonde tour. Is that what they call it? A blonde tour. But it's just a tone that works for fair skins to lightly set. You could also use this as a super neutral blush. And then I also have the little mini version of the Pat McGrath Divine Rose blush, and this is in the color, Divine Blush, called Divine Rose is the color. And just take a little bit of this to set. It's just a similar tone that I have on my cream blush. And this is just so it's going to last the whole day. I did not have to do this. It's just a longevity thing. If you sandwich your creams with powders, you're more likely to get an all-day wear. I am also using a smaller targeted brush in this case because I have that glossy highlight. I want to be able to decide where I put this, and so it doesn't stick too much. This gives me a little bit more control. That's really it. I do like to use some sort of setting spray or facial spray. I have this one. It's called the Deep Blue Oil Mist. And I'm gonna not try to butcher the name, so I'll show it to you here. It's a Korean brand. I really use this as my toner, but it's such a fine mist that I'll probably keep this bottle afterwards and put some setting spray in. So I just like the feeling of it, honestly, and it just makes the skin look even more natural. I'm gonna throw a little bit of lip balm back on, and then we will be good to close. Oh, shout out, first of all, as it's the end of my video, shout out to this lip mask. It's the Goat Butter lip mask. They have it at Ulta. I think it's like 15 bucks. My lips were dying when I started hitting winter. I live in Utah, so it's snowing, and I was like cracking and bleeding. Truly the only thing I bought like 5 different ones, and I couldn't get anything to work. So if you are someone who suffers really with like cracked lips, or if you just want a nice moisturizing like lip balm to put into your purse, I use this at day and night, and yeah, that's it. It's amazing. It actually treats your lips, and it smells like vanilla. So what can we say about that? The only thing I hate is the package is hard to open, so I have to like really crank it. But that is a small price to pay for a savior of my lips. So anyways, I hope you have a lovely rest of your day and start to your winter season. And if you have any questions, please pop them down below. I would love to, you know, kind of talk through everything. I will be doing some other routines coming up next, but I wanted to start as my first main video with foundation because it's the foundation of my channel and it's the foundation on your face. So, so nice to have you guys watch me. If you want to subscribe, that would be so wonderful. And again, comment, like below. Bye.